the last hunt. The crystalline patterns beneath Valdrik's azure skin pulsed with each heartbeat as he crested the final ridge. Below, smoke still curled from the charred ruins of what had been Frostholm. His village, his home, his life before duty claimed him. 3 days of trekking through the unknown north had led him here, to this wasteland of blackened timber and scattered bones. His glaciersteel blade sang against its sheath as wind carved through the valley. The weapon had fused with his arm during the Dawn Communion, becoming an extension of bone and ice that thrummed with the Everfrost Vein's power. Yet even that sacred connection felt distant now, muted by the rage burning in his flame-bright eyes. Mira's laugh echoing from the kitchen, Thorin's wooden sword tapping against his leg as the boy tried to copy his father's forms. Little Astrid's sticky fingers wrapped around his thumb. The memories struck like physical blows. Jorek forced them down, letting the familiar numbness of frostblight settle over his emotions. The transformation that made him more than human also made him less. A trade he'd accepted years ago. But here, among the ashes of everything he'd protected, humanity clawed its way back to the surface. Bootprints in the permafrost told the story. Massive clawed 8 toes per foot. Grulric Bloodmaw of Clan Redclaw had led the raid personally. The Brumgar chieftain's signature was carved into the village well. 3 parallel gashes that wept black ice. Valdrik descended into the ruins, his enhanced senses cataloguing every detail. 43 dead. The baker's wife had tried to shield her children. The smith had died with hammer in hand and his own cottage. The kitchen table lay split in half. Mira's body was gone. The Brumgar took their dead for the feeding rituals, but her blood had frozen into crimson flowers across the floorboards. Thorin's practiced sword lay snapped beside the door. Astrid's rag doll stared at him with button eyes that held no accusation, only the terrible silence of the grave. Something broke inside Valdrik's chest, a sound like ice cracking under pressure. The frostblight tried to numb the pain, but grief burned through magical suppressions like flame through frost. He fell to his knees, glaciersteel blade clattering forgotten as his shoulders shook with soundless sobs.
Weep for them, ice-touched.
The voice rumbled like an avalanche-given speech. Valdrik's head snapped up as a shadow fell across the ruined doorway. Grulric Bloodmaw filled the entrance, 9 feet of corrupted flesh and frost-hardened fur. The Brumgar chieftain's eyes glowed void black in a skull elongated far beyond natural bear folk proportions. Crystalline fangs dripped freezing mist as his maw split in a predator's grin.
I wondered when Rhimelgar would send their pet soldiers.
Grulric's accent carried the harsh consonants of the deep ice, words that seemed to leach warmth from the air.
One of their little blue warriors come to play hero.
Valdrik rose slowly, his blade flowing back to his grip as if pulled by magnetism. The weapon fused seamlessly with his arm, becoming a literal extension of bone and glacial steel.
You murdered 43 innocent people.
I harvested what was needed.
The Brumgar chieftain stepped into the cottage, forcing Valdrik to retreat. Each footfall left smoking prints in the floorboards.
Your people's memories will nourish our seers. Their blood feeds our spawning pools. Nothing was wasted.
Their names were
Meaningless.
Grulric's claw swept casually through the air, trailing wisps of corrupt frost.
You think yourself different, little ice-touched. You let the cold devour your heart, just as we did. The only difference is, you pretend it makes you noble.
Valdrik's response came in the form of a lightning-fast thrust at the Brumgar's throat. His blade moved with inhuman speed, each strike flowing into the next, as muscle memory and magical enhancement merged into perfect violence. The weapon carved frost trails through the air, seeking gaps in the chieftain's defenses. Grulric batted the attacks aside with contemptuous ease. His claws met glaciersteel in showers of sparks, each parry generating enough force to shatter normal weapons. The Brumgar's movements held a terrible liquid grace despite his massive frame. Corruption had made him something beyond natural laws of physics.
Too slow.
Grulric rumbled, catching Valdrik's blade between two claws and twisting.
The deep ice teaches patience. Your pretty transformation is nothing compared to what we have become.
The chieftain's free hand raked across Valdrik's chest, crystalline claws parting armor like paper. Azure blood splattered the walls as the Veinsworn stumbled backward, his enhanced healing already working to seal the wounds. But Grulric pressed forward, massive frame filling the cottage as he rained down blow after devastating blow. Valdrik fought desperately, calling on every technique the Vein had taught him. Ice-flesh fusion allowed him to merge temporarily with the cottage walls, phase-stepping through solid matter to strike from unexpected angles. Battlefrost erupted from his blade, weaponizing the very air into shards of killing cold. He drew on resonance techniques meant for 3 warrior teams, pouring every ounce of his magical reserves into attacks that should have shattered mountains. None of it mattered. Grulric moved through the magical onslaught like a force of nature, his corrupted physiology shrugging off damage that would have killed a dozen normal warriors. When Valdrik's blade finally found its mark, sliding between the chieftain's ribs, Grulric simply grabbed the weapon and drove it deeper.
Yes!
The Brumgar hissed, black blood steaming as it flowed around the buried steel.
Feel the despair. Your magic fails. Your strength abandons you. This is what we learned in the deep ice. That all things freeze, all things break, all things die.
Valdrik tried to wrench his blade free, but Grulric's grip held like a vice. The chieftain's other hand wrapped around the Veinsworn's throat, lifting him effortlessly from the ground. Crystalline claws began to tighten, threatening to crush windpipe and spine together.
Your family screamed beautifully,
Grulric whispered, his void-black eyes reflecting Valdrik's desperate struggles.
The woman fought to the end. The boy tried to protect his sister. Even the little one had spirit. She bit my paw before the cold took her.
Something fundamental shifted in Valdrik's mind. The careful emotional controls imposed by frostblight transformation simply vanished, burned away by a rage so pure it turned molten. Every magical technique he had learned, every enhancement the vein had granted, suddenly felt secondary to the primal fury that consumed him.
Papa.
Astrid's voice echoed impossibly clear in his mind, not memory, but presence, as if his daughter stood beside him in the ruined cottage.
Show him what we're worth,
Mira added, her tone carrying all the steel that had made him fall in love with her.
I believe in you,
Thorin whispered. The boy's hero worship transformed into something transcendent. The voices of his family, not ghosts or hallucinations, but something deeper. Love that death couldn't touch. Purpose that transcended the physical shell. The very humanity that frostblight was supposed to strip away, burning bright as a star's heart in the depths of winter. Valdrik stopped struggling against Grulric's grip. Instead, he placed both hands flat against the chieftain's chest and opened every channel the vein had carved through his transformed flesh. Not to cast a spell or technique, but to release everything. Every scrap of magical energy, every drop of enhanced blood, every fragment of his remaining life force.
For them.
He whispered. The explosion of glacial energy turned the cottage into a crystalline crater. Ice erupted outward in geometric patterns, each facet reflecting the last moment of a father's love multiplied into infinity. The blast carved through Grulric's corrupted flesh like a scythe through wheat, the pure cold of the Everfrost Vein meeting the twisted power of the deep ice in a collision that rewrote the natural laws of the world. When the light faded, Valdrik knelt alone in a bowl of perfect ice. Grulric's body lay scattered in frozen fragments around the crater's edge, the chieftain's final expression locked somewhere between surprise and grudging respect. The Veinsworn's own azure skin had taken on the translucent quality of living crystal, the final stage of transformation he'd held at bay for years. He was dying, had perhaps been dying since the moment he chose to sacrifice everything for one last strike. But in the crystalline reflections surrounding him, Valdrik could see them. Mira's smile, Thorin's bright eyes, Astrid's outstretched arms. Not memories now, but promises. A reminder that some things survived even when the flesh failed. The Everfrost Vein pulsed once through the eyes, offering its final gift. Valdrik's consciousness would join the glacier's eternal memory, preserving his love alongside the tactical knowledge of generations of warriors. He would become one more voice in the crystal, guiding future Veinsworn through their darkest moments. As the transformation completed and his human thoughts began to fade, Valdrik's last coherent feeling was profound gratitude. He had been privileged to love them, honored to lose everything in their defense, and blessed to carry that love with him into whatever came after the last heartbeat. The unknown north claimed its silence, but in that silence, for those who knew how to listen, echoed the eternal truth that some bonds could not be broken, Not by death, not by eyes, not by all the darkness in the world. Love endured. Always.
Thank you guys for listening to The Last Hunt. If you guys enjoyed that, please like, comment, and subscribe, and let us know what you think about this story. I just want to make these short stories so that way you guys can see how much of a world that I've created so far. This has been really fun for me to make alongside my friend and brother, TD McIntosh. We will have live streams, probably like monthly. We're going to try to up it to like bi-weekly so that we can keep you guys up to date on what's going on. If you guys have any ideas as far as like, additions to the world or things that you might want to see, I'd like to hear it. We're always listening to people on the Facebook side of things. They're always leaving comments and ideas and that sort of thing. So I do appreciate the response. So yeah, if you guys enjoy that, stay tuned for the next video. Have a good one, guys.